Have you ever caught a subtle, unpleasant scent and suddenly paused asking yourself, wait, is that me? It's a quiet moment of self-doubt most women have faced, but don't worry, you're not alone, and there's no shame in it. What might surprise you is that even when we think we're doing everything right using soap showering regularly, applying deodorant, certain hygiene habits we've picked up over the years could actually be making things worse, not better. In this video, we're going to explore 8 surprising bathroom habits that doctors say can actually cause older women to smell worse, not because we're neglecting hygiene, but because we may be overdoing or misapplying it. And here's the best part. Each mistake comes with a simple, science-backed solution you can apply today, so stick around until the very end, because we're not just talking about smelling fresher, we're talking about feeling more confident, empowered, and truly in tune with your body at any age. Before we begin, a small favor. If you find value in this content, please give the video a like. It really helps us spread wellness wisdom with more women like you. And if you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon so you won't miss any future videos. Oh, and just for fun, if you enjoy this content, drop the number 1 in the comments. If not, type 0, and I'll use your feedback to improve. Now let's get into it. Let's get Part 1. Using too much soap down there. Ladies, let me share a personal story that completely changed how I think about hygiene. When I was younger, I tackled my daily showers like a woman on a mission. I lathered up every inch of my body with strong floral-scented soaps and body washes, especially in my intimate areas. I scrubbed like I was preparing for surgery, genuinely believing that the more soap I used, the fresher I'd be. And let's be honest, the colorful packaging and promises of feminine freshness on those store shelves only reinforced that mindset. But here's what no one told me, not my mother, my girlfriends, or even my doctor, until much later, this kind of overzealous cleaning was doing far more harm than good. The truth is, your intimate area is a self-cleaning wonder. The vaginal environment is delicately balanced, designed by nature to regulate itself using a very specific pH level, typically between 3.8 and 4.5, and a community of healthy bacteria that help prevent infection and odor. Think of it like a beautifully tuned orchestra. Every part works in harmony to keep things healthy. But when you introduce harsh soaps, fragranced body washes, or even gentle feminine hygiene sprays or wipes, it's like throwing a wrench into that orchestra. Many of these products are filled with chemicals, alcohol, or strong perfumes that strip away the good bacteria and disrupt the natural pH. This can open the door to irritation odor or even full-blown infections like bacterial vaginosis or yeast overgrowth. Here's what happened to me for years. I battled recurring irritation, itching, and that uncomfortable off feeling despite my best efforts to stay clean. It wasn't until a candid conversation with my gynecologist that everything changed. She said the words I'll never forget: "Your vagina is self-cleaning. It doesn't need your help inside, just your respect on the outside." That was my wake-up call. From that day forward, I stopped the scrubbing and started trusting my body. Here's what I learned for the external area. The vulva warm water is usually enough. If you feel you absolutely need a cleanser, choose one that's pH-balanced, fragrance-free, and specifically designed for intimate areas. Use it sparingly and never internally. Forget the douches, the sprays, the floral wipes. Those might give you a temporary sense of freshness, but they often cause more dryness, discomfort, and imbalance in the long run. My advice: trust your body. It knows what it's doing. The less you interfere, the more naturally fresh and healthy you'll feel. And if something ever seems off, persistent, odor, irritation, or discharge, don't just scrub harder. See your healthcare provider. It may be your body asking for attention, not more soap. Part 2. Not washing your towels often enough. Now let's shift to something even more overlooked: your bath towels. Here's a question that might make you pause. When was the last time you washed your towel? If you're hesitating, you're not alone. I used to be guilty of this myself. My logic: I'm clean when I use it, so the towel must stay clean too, right? Wrong. It wasn't until I started noticing a faint, musty smell on my skin, even after a thorough shower, that I realized something wasn't right. The culprit: My towel. Here's the science: towels are magnets for moisture, and moisture attracts bacteria. Every time you dry off and hang that towel in your warm, steamy bathroom, especially if your bathroom lacks good ventilation, you're creating the perfect environment for germs to grow. That includes skin bacteria, mold spores, even mildew. And yes, they can transfer right back onto your freshly cleaned skin. For years, I reused the same towel for an entire week thinking I was being efficient and eco-friendly. But I was unknowingly compromising my skin's health. Dermatologists recommend washing your bath towel after every 3 to 4 uses. If you live in a humid climate or don't have great airflow in your bathroom, think no window weak exhaust fan, you may want to wash it after every 2 uses. Here's a simple system that changed everything for me. I keep 3 towels in rotation, 1 in use, 1 drying, and 1 clean and ready. That way, I'm never stuck using a damp, germ-filled towel. Another tip: make sure your towel dries completely between uses. Don't bunch it up. Spread it out fully on a towel bar, and consider investing in a small dehumidifier if your bathroom feels constantly damp. Since making this change, I've noticed something incredible: my skin feels cleaner, my bathroom smells fresher, and that lingering odor on my towel, gone. It's a small shift, but it has a big payoff. If you're still watching and finding these tips useful, drop the number 1 in the comments below. I'd love to know you're still with me on this journey. Part 3. Ignoring your feet. Let's get real for a second. Feet aren't exactly the most glamorous topic, are they? Most of us give them the bare minimum attention, especially since they spend most of their time hidden in socks and shoes. I used to be the queen of foot neglect. My shower routine involved letting the water run over them and maybe giving them a half-hearted swipe with a soapy washcloth. I never scrubbed thoroughly. I never dried between my toes. I figured if they didn't look dirty, they must be fine. But as I got older, I started noticing something: that I couldn't ignore a sour, unpleasant smell coming from my shoes, even on days when I hadn't broken a sweat. I was mortified and confused. The truth is, our skin changes with age. When we're younger, dead skin cells shed more easily, but as we get older, that process slows down, especially on our feet. Add in the fact that feet have over 250,000 sweat glands, and you've got a perfect storm of moisture, dead skin, and odor-causing bacteria. My minimalist foot care routine was allowing all of that to build up. The result: funky feet. So I made a change. Now, during every shower, I spend a full minute on my feet, scrubbing the soles, the heels, and especially between my toes. Afterward, I dry them completely, using a separate towel for my feet if needed. I even apply a light moisturizer to prevent cracking, because dry, broken skin can trap bacteria too. The difference: night and day. My shoes smell clean, my feet feel soft, and most importantly, I feel confident again whether I'm barefoot at home or slipping into sandals on a sunny day. Let's talk about what I've learned through trial error and, yes, years of underestimating my feet. First things first, when cleaning your feet, gentleness is key. I use a soft washcloth and a mild, fragrance-free soap, no harsh scrubs or overly scented products. These can irritate the skin and throw off its balance, especially as we age. I focus carefully on the soles, heels, and between the toes, those tricky areas where moisture and bacteria love to linger. It's not enough to let the water hit them passively. You've got to get in there lightly, scrubbing every surface to remove buildup that might be harboring odor or bacteria. For that stubborn, dead skin, especially on my heels, I bring in the help of a pumice stone or foot file once a week. But here's the catch: only once a week. Over-exfoliating can lead to microcuts or skin sensitivity, which ironically can make things worse. Once a week strikes the perfect balance between removing old skin and protecting the new. But the real game changer: drying. Completely. Every time. I can't stress this enough. After washing, I use a clean towel and take the time to pat my feet thoroughly dry, paying special attention to the areas between the toes. That little space is prime real estate for fungi and bacteria if left damp. Think of it like a tight closet. You wouldn't leave a wet towel crumpled inside it, right? Same principle here. And when it's summer, or when I've been wearing closed-toe shoes for hours, I add one extra step, a light sprinkle of antifungal foot powder into my socks or directly into my shoes. It helps absorb moisture and keep things fresh throughout the day. It may seem minor, but it makes a world of difference in preventing that sour shoe smell and keeping your skin dry and clean. Because here's the truth, taking care of your feet isn't just about odor. It's about caring for the very foundation that supports your entire body. Neglect can lead to cracked heels, athlete's foot, and even infections, especially for those living with conditions like diabetes, where foot health becomes even more critical. For those of us who want to walk confidently, comfortably, and pain-free into our later years, this daily practice is not just helpful, it's essential. So let's reframe how we see our feet. They're not just the forgotten body part we hide in shoes. They are the workhorses that carry us through life. They deserve respect, attention, and care. Start with a mindful shower routine. Dry them thoroughly. Sprinkle in a little protection when needed. And every once in a while, treat yourself to a soothing foot soak or a rich moisturizer massage. It's not just pampering, it's preventive care. When you do these small things regularly, your feet won't just smell better, they'll feel healthier, look better, and carry you with renewed strength and comfort. Part 4. Leaving the toilet. Lid open. When flushing now, shifting gears to something that might make you chuckle, but stick with me because the science behind it is more serious than it sounds. Let's talk about a common habit most of us never think twice about: flushing the toilet with the lid open. The first time I heard about this being a problem, I laughed. It sounded like something out of a science experiment you'd see on TV. But then I started reading the research, and let me tell you, it's no joke. When you flush a toilet with the lid open, you trigger a phenomenon known as a toilet plume. This is essentially a tiny, invisible geyser that shoots microscopic droplets into the air at surprising speeds. And these droplets, they're often laden with bacteria, viruses, and yes, tiny particles from human waste. Studies have shown that these particles can travel up to 6 feet, floating into the air and lingering for minutes, even hours. That's right. They don't vanish. They settle on your toothbrush, on your makeup brush, on your towels, even on your skin if you happen to be standing nearby. It's a subtle but potent hygiene issue most people never consider. Now picture your beautifully organized bathroom, your skincare products lined up, your fresh towel folded neatly, your toothbrush sitting calmly in its holder. Now imagine all of that, possibly getting a microscopic dusting of toilet spray. Grossed out yet I was too. It gets even worse if you use chemical toilet cleaners, scented fresheners, or other aerosols in the bowl. Those chemicals mix with the toilet plume, turning it into a chemical mist that can irritate your lung, skin, or trigger allergies. But the good news? The solution couldn't be simpler. Close the lid before you flush. Every time. It's a tiny action that takes less than a second, but it drastically reduces the spread of bacteria, odors, and airborne particles. Since I made this one change, my bathroom feels cleaner, fresher, and most importantly, I feel better about brushing my teeth in there. You might not see the difference immediately, but over time you'll start to notice that your bathroom smells better and surfaces stay cleaner longer. It's one of those hygiene habits that pays off in quiet, powerful ways. Part 5. Wearing the same underwear to bed. Let's be honest, this is one of those habits most of us have done at some point. You're winding down for the evening, maybe reading a book, watching TV, or just getting ready to slip into your softest pajamas. You pause for a moment and ask yourself, should I change my underwear before bed? And then you think, I've barely moved all day. It's not like I ran a marathon. I'm fine. Sound familiar? I used to think the exact same way. But here's what I've learned, and what doctors and dermatologists now emphasize: sleeping in the same underwear you've worn all day might be undermining your hygiene, especially as we age. Throughout the day, even if we're not breaking a sweat, our bodies naturally produce sweat oils and moisture. Add in dead skin cells and the presence of normal skin bacteria, and it turns out your underwear collects more than you might imagine by nightfall. Now think about this. When you wear the same underwear to bed, you're trapping all of that against your skin for hours in a warm, enclosed environment. And what loves warmth, moisture, and darkness? Odor-causing bacteria. You're basically creating the perfect breeding ground for irritation, odor, and even skin issues. This issue is amplified if your underwear is made from synthetic materials like nylon spandex or polyester. These fabrics may feel comfortable, but they're not breathable. They hold on to heat and moisture, which means bacteria have even more time to thrive while you sleep. The result: you might wake up feeling less fresh, noticing a lingering odor, or experiencing subtle irritation in sensitive areas. And often we don't connect it back to our underwear choice because it feels like such a minor thing. But trust me, it's not. So what's the fix? Simple: change into a fresh pair before bed. Opt for underwear made from natural breathable fabrics, like cotton. Cotton allows for airflow, helps wick away moisture, and keeps the skin cooler and drier during the night. And if you're feeling adventurous or comfortable with it, many experts now recommend going commando at night. That's right, no underwear at all. Giving your skin a chance to breathe overnight helps reduce friction, moisture buildup, and irritation. It's a tiny shift that can have a surprisingly big impact on your overall comfort and freshness in the morning. When I finally adopted this habit, I was surprised at how luxurious it felt. Not only did I wake up feeling cleaner and lighter, but the usual discomfort I didn't even realize I was experiencing disappeared. I felt fresher, and my morning hygiene routine became quicker and more enjoyable. It's a small adjustment that can make your evenings feel more restful and your mornings more confident. Part 6. Not cleaning the trash bin in the bathroom. Next up is a hygiene blind spot most people never think twice about: your bathroom trash bin. Now, I'll be the first to admit, for years I had a little lidded trash bin next to my toilet. I tossed in tissues, cotton swabs, hygiene products, you name it, and emptied it when it looked full. That was the extent of my trash bin maintenance. I never gave it a second thought. But here's the truth: that small bin can become a hidden source of odor and bacteria if it's not cleaned regularly. Why? Because everything we toss in, whether it's a damp tissue, a used cotton pad, or a hygiene product, carries moisture or organic material even in tiny amounts. And in a closed bin, especially in a warm, steamy bathroom, that's an invitation for bacteria and mold to take up residence. Over time, the bin starts to emit a subtle but persistent musty or sour smell, and no matter how spotless the rest of your bathroom is, that odor lingers. I couldn't figure out why my bathroom still smelled off even after scrubbing the sink, toilet, and floors. Then I realized it was my trash bin. The fix: super simple. Now I empty my bathroom bin every few days, even if it's not full. Once a week, I give it a quick but thorough wipe down using disinfectant spray or a vinegar-based cleaner. And for a little extra odor control, I sprinkle some baking soda in the bottom of the bin or add a drop of essential oil on a cotton pad before placing a new liner. It takes less than 5 minutes, but it's made a huge difference in the overall freshness of my bathroom. It feels cleaner, smells cleaner, and guests have even commented on how nice the space feels. Just like everything else we've talked about, it's about consistent, mindful care. A clean bin might not be the most glamorous part of your bathroom routine, but trust me, it's one of the most effective. Part 7. Using old or unwashed bathrobes. Let's move on to something a little cozier, but sneakily problematic. Your bathrobe. Picture this: you've just stepped out of a steamy, luxurious shower. You're feeling clean, refreshed, and relaxed. You reach for your soft, trusted robe, wrap it around yourself like a hug, and boom, comfort city. But here's the question no one really asks: when was the last time you washed that bathrobe? If you had to pause, you're not alone. Bathrobes trick us. Because we only wear them after we've cleaned ourselves, it feels like they stay clean by default. But here's what's actually happening. After your shower, your skin is still damp, and that moisture gets absorbed into the robe's fibers. Now, if your robe isn't hung up properly, or is left in a poorly ventilated space, say behind the door, or bunched up on a hook that moisture sticks around, and where there's dampness, there's bacteria mildew, and eventually musty odors. Over time, that smell clings to the robe and transfers back onto your freshly showered skin. You might blame your soap or deodorant when you notice a lingering smell, but the truth is, your robe might be the culprit. Here's what changed everything for me. I started washing my bathrobe weekly, no exceptions. To make that easy, I bought a second robe. That way I always have a clean one drying while the other is in use. I also started hanging it somewhere with good airflow on a rack in an open space, rather than letting it sit damp and crumpled. Now my bathrobe smells like clean laundry every time I use it. It's a subtle change, but it elevates the entire post-shower experience. When you wrap yourself in a robe that's as clean as you are, it just feels better. Try it. You'll never want to go back. Part 8. Forgetting to clean under your arms after shaving. At first glance, shaving your underarms seems like a shortcut to better hygiene. After all, removing hair means there's less for sweat and odor to cling to, right? That's what I used to think. And I'll admit, for a long time, I treated shaving as the final step in my underarm routine. I'd glide the razor over the skin rinse towel off and be on my way, feeling confident that I was doing everything right. But here's the catch: I wasn't. And chances are, you might be making the same mistake. Shaving doesn't just remove hair. Your razor also acts as a mini exfoliator, scraping away dead skin cells, deodorant residue, and some of the natural bacteria that live on your skin. While that might sound like a bonus, it isn't unless you follow up with the right cleansing. Because guess what? All that stuff your razor loosens doesn't just disappear. It can sit right there on your freshly shaved skin, dead skin cells, deodorant gunk, sweat particles, and stirred up bacteria, just waiting to cause problems. And if you don't take an extra step to wash it away, it turns into the perfect breeding ground for odor-causing bacteria. Think of it like vacuuming your carpet without picking up the dust bag afterward. You've loosened the dirt, but now it's floating around, making things worse. This one small misstep, forgetting to cleanse after shaving, can undo all your efforts and actually leave your underarms smelling worse than before. I learned this the hard way after noticing that, strangely, I still had underarm odor even on days I had just shaved. I was confused. I had removed the hair, I had scrubbed the area during my shower, so why the lingering smell? That's when I came across dermatologists' advice that completely changed my routine. They pointed out that the underarm area is one of the most bacteria-rich zones on our body. Warm, moist, and often dark, it's like a 5-star hotel for microbes. Shaving opens up the skin and stirs things up, but unless we flush those particles away afterward, they stay. And that's what leads to irritation, odor, or even infections. So here's what I do now, and it's made a huge difference. Immediately after shaving, I rinse my underarms with warm water. Not just a quick splash, I take a moment to gently cleanse the area. I use a clean, soft washcloth and gently wipe, no scrubbing. The skin is sensitive post-shave, and being too rough can cause irritation or tiny micro-tears. This gentle rinse washes away debris, bacteria, and deodorant residue, giving your underarms a fresh, clean slate. After that, I pat the skin dry with a fresh towel, always dabbing, never rubbing. And here's a tip that feels luxurious but is secretly functional. I let the skin breathe for a few minutes before applying deodorant or antiperspirant. This pause allows the pores to settle, the skin to calm, and reduces the risk of clogged pores or chemical reactions. During that time, I usually move on to my face care, cleansing, toning, moisturizing, and then circle back to my underarms once everything feels cool and dry. Since adding this small post-shave step, I've noticed a significant drop in underarm odor, even hours after applying deodorant. My skin feels smoother, less irritated, and that weird mid-afternoon funk gone. And it's not just me. Dermatologists widely agree that following proper post-shave cleansing is essential to long-term underarm health. It helps prevent rashes, infections, and persistent odor, and makes your deodorant work more effectively. So if you've ever wondered why your underarms don't feel quite as fresh as they should, even after shaving, this might be your answer. Take that extra minute. Rinse. Gently wipe. Pat dry. Let your skin breathe. It's such a small addition to your routine, but it delivers maximum freshness. So, there you have it. 8 common bathroom habits that could be making older women smell worse without even realizing it. From overusing soap to neglecting feet, from flushing with the lid open to wearing the same underwear to bed, each of these small missteps adds up. But the good news, they're all easy to fix, and you don't need expensive products or fancy gadgets. Just a little awareness, a few smart tweaks to your routine, and a commitment to treat your body with the respect and care it deserves. Because you deserve to feel fresh, confident, and radiant at any age. If you've made it this far, drop the number 3 in the comments to let me know you're still here with me. It means the world to have your attention and your trust. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if this video helped you in any way. I'm here to bring you more insights, more wellness tips, and a little more joy in the everyday routines that keep us healthy. Thank you for watching. And until next time, stay fresh, stay confident, and stay beautifully you.